Hello witches, welcome back to the channel. This is xoxo once again. So this might be a little bit of an unpopular video. I'm just going to preface the video with that. But I also want to say I do not judge dark magic, black magic, whatever you want to call it, the darker arts, cursing, anything like that. I practice it myself, so I don't judge those who do it. I also don't have anything against lighter magic and all of that because I also practice that myself. So I do all kinds of magic, whatever I feel is necessary or needed at the time. And, you know, so that's not, this video is not coming from any kind of place of judgment or anything. Now, with that said, this video is all about questions that you should ask yourself before you curse. So I'm just going to get right into this. This video is part of my series of videos on cursing. So just know that this is included with that. I should have made this video as one of the first videos in the curse series, but I kind of felt like the things that will be discussed in this video are kind of obvious. But maybe they're not for everyone. So we're just going to get into this. Before you curse, some questions that you should ask yourself. First of all, I also want to preface this, I should have said this at the beginning, but this is my point of view. I shouldn't have to say this in every single video that I make, but this is from my point of view. This is from my experience. This is from my advice and my suggestions. So once again, this is not from a place of judgment to anyone who does it differently, but you know, this is my channel and I'm sharing my point of view, okay, and my opinion. Once again, I should not have to say that at the beginning of any of my videos, because obviously anything that comes out of my mouth is my opinion, but some people don't comprehend that. Now let's get into this. The first question that I have listed to advise you all is it justified? Okay, this should be a very obvious one, but you know, has the person that you're wanting to curse, have they harmed you or someone that you love? Have they harmed your client? Have they caused harm? Is it justified to even curse them? Okay, that's the first question, probably the most obvious question that you should ask yourself before you curse. Okay. Now, the next couple questions sort of go together. Well, really all these questions go together. So, you should also ask yourself, has the person already done something to try to make amends? So if the answer to the first question was yes, they have caused harm, your second question needs to be, have they already tried to make up for it? Or have they already paid the price in some other way? Have they gotten in trouble with the police? Have they already, you know, had something happen to them, you know, bad, as a result of the action that they did, the wrong that they have done. Okay? A lot of times the universe balances things out on its own without any type of magic having to be done. So has the person already been punished? Has something bad already happened to them? Or have they already tried to make some kind of amends? Have they shown true, you know, remorse and regret for what they did? And have they tried to fix it in some way? Have they tried to do something to balance it theirself? Okay, ask yourself that as well. Analyze that aspect as well. That's important, because if you curse someone after they have already paid the price for what they did, or if you curse someone after they've already tried to make amends for it, you could be the one that's introducing imbalance back into the situation, and the universe will backlash on you because you're creating the imbalance at that point. This is just my opinion and my experience. So that's something to be careful with and to analyze, okay? The next question I have that you should ask yourself is, how do you know that they won't try to make amends in the future? Okay? This is important as well. You should analyze, I should say it like that. You should analyze this aspect of it. Especially if the person that you're thinking about cursing is someone that you have loved before, a family member, a spouse, someone that you've been in a long relationship with. Ask yourself, you know, have they wronged you? If the answer is yes. You know, maybe they haven't tried to fix it and make amends for it yet, but how do you know that they won't in the future? And how would you react if they did? So if the person that you want to curse was to come to you and apologize and try to make things better, would you accept that? Or have they done something so wrong and so severe that you would not even accept their apology anyway? Ask yourself those things, because, you know, that's something that's important as well to think about. You know, how do you really feel about this person? If they were to come to you and apologize and try to make things better, and you would accept it, then that shows that you still really do love that person. And, you know, cursing them may not be the outcome, or the, what is the word? It may not be the path that you really want to take. Because another question that I have that you should ask yourself here is there another solution or outcome that you would prefer to cursing the person as the outcome? So think about that aspect as well. You could use other spells and rituals, you know, even domination spells and controlling spells and commanding spells, to get a better outcome than cursing, to get the outcome that you actually do prefer. Maybe you prefer for this person to apologize to you and make things better. Maybe you prefer for this person to apologize to your client or your friend and make things better with them. Maybe that's the preferred outcome. So look into different spells that you can use that can help you get the actual outcome that you want, as opposed to just cursing them. Okay? So ask yourself that question as well. See what comes to you in that regard. I skipped this question. This was actually the second one. Have I given this enough thought and time? But once again, all of these questions are interrelated. So with the timing thing, you know, maybe you should give this person a chance to try to balance things on their own before you step in and curse them. Now, I understand that there is multiple levels of complexity involved because not every single situation is the same. As a matter of fact, every single situation is unique and different. So this is something that you just have to analyze for yourself in the moment, in your own circumstances, with the people involved. But this is something that you should also consider when it applies. Have you given the person enough time to try to fix things on their own? People make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I have made mistakes. You have made mistakes in our relationships, in what we do and how we treat others. We all make mistakes. So my advice to you is don't be so quick to judge someone. Now, once again, this depends on the severity of what they have done to wrong you or your loved ones, okay? Don't get me wrong on that. But, you know, have you given that person enough of a chance to redeem themselves on their own before you step in and curse them? Have you tried talking to them to give them a chance to fix things? Have you tried other methods as well? That goes along with this video and different things that you should consider. Have you tried to make them pay for what they've done through mundane methods before you revert to cursing? Think about that as well. A lot of times we can deal with people on a mundane level, and this applies to all magic actually. Before you use magic for anything, you should always try to go the route of just your own actions, your own words, your own communication, just mundane level dealing with reality. Magic should only ever be involved, I think, when you've exhausted the other methods of dealing with things. When it comes to using magic for mundane purposes. Okay, because to me, magic is a sacred, holy art, and its real purpose is to be used on spiritual ascent and spiritual growth. And those type of things, higher magic. To me, that's the real purpose of magic. And using it on the physical world and on the mundane reality is sort of a lower use of magic. So when it comes to using magic for those types of purposes, I think that it is good to make sure that you have exhausted every other possible solution that you could do at the basic mundane level before you use magic for that. That's sort of beside the point of this video, but I think it is interrelated to what I was saying. You know, have you tried to deal with this person in other ways before you resort to using curses and magic? Okay. The next thing that I have I sort of think that these two go together as well. First of all, will it harm the lives of other people who may be innocent? For example, does the person that you're trying to curse have children that their lives will be affected and negatively impacted because you have cursed their parent? Think about that. Because this may be another situation where you're actually creating imbalance. Not for the person that you curse, but, you know, if that person has people who are depending on them. And that other person's life, their children, or some innocent person, if their life is negatively impacted because you curse someone, then you're creating imbalance in that person's life. So this is one of those things that you have to consider. Also too, in general, just in your mundane life, fighting fire with fire, seeking revenge, and all of that, you know, it ties into that saying of perpetuating these cycles of harm. Okay, that's just the truth. Everything's interconnected like that. So you have to think about that. When you're cursing someone, are you also affecting the lives of innocent people who will be affected by cursing that person? Now, this also ties into the video that I made a while ago on using impersonal magic, on using your magic to raise the vibrations of the planet and to bless other people's lives, and how blessing one person creates a cycle of continued blessings. Because whenever you raise someone else's vibrations, that energy is contagious, and they become more of a blessing in the lives of the people who know them, and they raise other people's vibrations. But it's the same when it comes to cursing others. When you curse someone, you're lowering the vibrations in and around them, and that energy is also contagious, and they can bring other people's lives down. And if it's something like that person has kids, or they're taking care of a sibling, or a sickly relative, or a parent or something, then you're also bringing that negative energy into those people's lives as well. And you have to consider that, and you have to think about it, and you have to take responsibility for that as well. Okay? Because it is real, and it is what you're doing. So think about that before you curse someone as well. Think about that very deeply. Do you really want to be responsible for that? Are you willing to? Because once again, no judgment here. If you're willing to be responsible for that, then go right ahead and curse. But this is still something that you should think about and be aware of, okay? And another question that goes along with that is, how severe do you want your curse to be? Okay? You know, you can control how severe you want your curse to be by the exact curse that you're using, the words and intentions involved, and all of that. You can control the severity of it. So you can limit a curse to cause, you know, one big bad thing to somebody, and then it ends. You can curse someone for life. For the remainder of their life, they could be under your curse. You know, there's different things that you can do when it comes to curse magic. So think about that as well. Especially if you're a beginner getting into this. That's really what this video is more so geared towards. People who have not been into magic and witchcraft for long, and who have maybe not even thought about these different aspects and different things. Or may not even know that you can control the severity of a curse, or may not have even thought about how severe they want their curses to be. So think about that as well. And be mindful of what you're doing. If you take any message from this video, that's the message that you should take from it. Be mindful of what you're doing in all of your magic, but especially when it comes to cursing, okay? Now, once again, there's no judgment involved with any of this. I do curse. I do ask myself these questions, and sometimes I think that curses are still necessary, and I'm still willing to do it. So there's no judgment. But I do think that with whatever you're doing with magic, you should be mindful of what you're doing. You should be mindful of how far-reaching it is. Okay? You have to take responsibility when it comes to the use of your power. So, and you have to be responsible when it comes to wielding it. Okay? So that's what this video is mostly just about. Getting you all to think about these things and how your magic really is affecting the world, not just the target. Okay? And thinking about, is cursing even necessary? Is there not another solution that you would find preferable? Could you not use a different spell to get a better outcome than just cursing someone and possibly negatively impacting other people's lives that are involved with that person? Have you given them enough time to maybe fix things on their own? Have you given it enough time for maybe the mundane world to make them pay for what they did? For maybe the police to get involved? Or, you know, their karma to catch up to them on its own through these mundane things? I think that cursing should be something that you put as much planning into as you would to prosperity magic and, you know, other magics with a positive bent. Your cursing, you should have as much thought and planning involved with it as well. Like I said, being mindful of the magic that you're doing is the top message that I want you to take from this video. So that's basically it. I just wanted to do this quick video, touch base on that, as part of my cursing series. So hopefully this has made you all think about some things. And once again, I'm not trying to dissuade you from using cursing or dark magic, but I do want you to be mindful of it and what you're really doing. Okay? Because that does reflect on you and impact your life through the laws of the universe, of the universal oneness and everything being interconnected. You know, it's part of it. So just think about all of that. And hopefully this video was useful and helpful to all of the beginners and people who are looking into cursing and all of that. And maybe even to some more advanced practitioners. But that's going to be all. Until next time, hail to the witches, hail Hecate, and blessed be.